Hi everyone. I hope we are already on air now, and we greet all our followers and all the guys that listening to us now, because today we have a very interesting person with whom we will have interview, and we have a very popular and interesting theme topic to talk about. It will be a conversation with a very famous, world famous wedding destination videographer. His name is Ray Roman, who owns and operates the Ray Roman Films Company. And as far as I know him, he has thousands and thousands of secrets and of stories about his work and how he became such popular, such on demand of by his clients from all over the world. So join us, and Ray, I'm waiting for your request to invite you to the broadcast. Just push the button in the bottom of the screen. Meanwhile, guys, I'm very glad to see and to see everybody, all of you. Just maybe send us some smile, some emoji to make me understand that sound and video is going good. Today we speak English. Today our broadcast will be done in English. But anyway, greetings, saluti, privet to all our Russian and Italian friends and colleagues and followers. Ray, I can see your request. Just send it to me. I will repeat to everybody who just joined us, that today we have I don't see Ray's sending me a message that I don't see the button. So maybe can everybody suggest Ray how the button to join the on air looks like? Let's see if I can invite him. Oh, I can invite him myself. Let me do it. See if I can manage it myself. Oh, here you are.
Look at that.
Yeah, hi.
I was
Fortunately, Instagram has function to invite you.
I was waiting for you.
Good. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Fine. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for accepting our invitation
My
to join
pleasure.
our series of broadcasts. So, what's going on? How's it what? First of all, what time is it now in USA?
It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm in a state called Georgia, and it's just north of Florida, where I
Good.
was born and raised. Yeah. So
So,
I'm doing the same thing everybody else is doing, kind of at home on lockdown, hoping for the best, hoping one day things will get back to normal.
it will, Ray. On seeing the situation in Italy, I can definitely say that earlier or later the situation will improve, because now in Italy the lockdown is already cancelled. So we are in the we call it phase two. So all the offices, the factories, restaurants, everything is already open. Yeah, are still wearing masks and gloves and following some social distance restrictions and some other rules, but this is very necessary to improve the situation very quickly, because I haven't seen today, but yesterday we had only, fortunately, thanks God, we had only 3,000 new cases, 300 new cases, what I'm talking about, 300 new cases, and that's very, it's still bad, and I mean that we hope that quickly there will be no zero new cases, but it is already it is already very, very good in terms of the whole pandemic situation in the world. So I think and I hope that even in USA, the situation will improve very, very quickly.
Yeah, so we're just waiting too. I was actually very happy to read the Prime Minister of Italy came out and said, we have to open the economy or else it's never going to be able to get restarted. And we're just going to have to learn how to live with the risk. And I think we all do for the most part. You know, I think we need to just use common sense, be safe, be considerate, but we really have to open the economy. I mean, there's so much damage being done to a lot of, as you know, a lot of small businesses that I know of. They're no longer in business. So I think it's important. I think it's important. You know, I think they know enough about this virus now, right? And I think they're, at least in the United States, I'm not sure about Italy, but I think the biggest problem at the beginning was they just weren't prepared for something like this. So I think, you know, once places are kind of prepared and they have the facility to deal with a new virus like this, it's probably a good time to open
I
things
hope
up.
they will manage it because, as you mentioned, they have already a lot of information, a lot of experience with this virus and how to take care of people who took it, who were infected. So let's keep our fingers crossed and prepare ourselves, improve ourselves to restart in our best version as professionals, as people, as teams, as businesses, etc. So I'm not accidentally asked you what's the time in USA, but because I want to tell our listeners, our audience that maybe doesn't know you, that you are maybe one of the best, one of the world's most famous videographers, highly requested by brides and grooms and couples from all over the world, based in USA. But as you told me previously, it doesn't matter how you express yourselves, where you sleep, you know, before the project, before the wedding. It matters where you work, and you are being American. On your website have on the main page the image of Villa Pizzo, one of the most popular Italian locations for the weddings, that is located on Lake Como. Why it is the main image on your website, the videographer from America? What do you have common with Italy? Maybe Italy is your, I don't know, beloved destination for the weddings.
Well, look how beautiful it is. How beautiful is that image?
Um, Very.
Very.
It's
It's
amazing.
like
It's amazing. It's
it's
magnificent.
it's you know, it's one thing to have it on my website, but it's another thing to actually be able to go there and experience just how beautiful that place is. You know, for me, Lake Como is just, it's iconic. It's gorgeous, and that's why it's one of the hottest destination places in the world right now, or before the pandemic, stuff like that. But I
And will be
absolutely,
after. And
yeah.
will be
So,
after.
oh yeah. So I love Italy. In fact, like I was telling you before, when this pandemic happened, I was actually in Florence, Italy, because I was looking for a home. That's how much I love Italy. I was actually looking to live there because I just love, I'm obsessed with the rich history there, the culture, the people, of course, the food. You know, I gained some pounds there. I'll be honest with you, but I just love
It's
everything
obvious.
about Italy. And it's
It's very
just,
common.
you know, I'll tell you a little story quickly, but I loved Italy always, right? Every time I've been there, I loved it. And I always kind of dreamed of living there, but I said, you know, maybe that's kind of crazy. Maybe it's just good for like being a tourist or whatever. And I remember last year I was in Sorrento,
Mm-hmm.
and we went to a restaurant, and the seafood came out on the menu, and my wife asked the owner, she made the mistake of asking him if the seafood is fresh. And
Ooh,
oh,
what he offended?
he was like, "What do you mean? Is the food fresh?" So he goes to the back and he brings out a cart of the seafood, like the catch of the day. Everything was
Yeah,
still like hopping around on the tray. I mean, that's how fresh it was.
he catched it right in front of you from the sea, right?
Yeah, he probably caught it like 5 minutes ago. So, we started talking and he was just a great guy. And when we finished our meal, we paid the bill and the owner came back and he said, "Come with me. I want to show you something." So we're like, okay. So we followed him out of the restaurant and up these stairs, and he took us into his house. And he took us to the backyard and started explaining like the history of when he grew up as a kid, and he still had his turtles there from when he was a little child, and he was picking limoncellos off the trees. Just like I was just like, I'm gonna live here. Like this guy, he's a complete stranger, and we eat a meal in his restaurant, and like 20 minutes later, we're in his house, and that's really like I just feel so at home when I'm in Italy, and even if it's with a complete stranger, I feel like they're family. It's the craziest thing in the world. And look, I've been all over the world, and I don't, and I love other places, but I don't get the same feeling. There's very few places that you go to where you feel like, I could live here and be
Yeah.
happy. Things
Yeah.
like that. Italy does that to me.
Yeah, and that's maybe why we all from Palazzoeventi moved here, because sometimes people ask us, but how you decided to move in Italy? Why? Why in Italy? Maybe you were thought about opening your business before and then you moved. No, the only reason is that we fell in love with Italy and then we moved there, and then we discovered that there is such a beautiful, not a business, such a beautiful way to live, to organize wedding, to make people happier, to bring their dreams to bring their dreams to reality, to make them true, to work with very kind, very open-minded, open-hearted people from all over the world, not only here in Italy from local vendors, but from all over the world, and that's the way of life. But have you noticed that you even in the beginning when you started telling me your little story about this man from the seafood restaurant, you even used the Italian gesture, you know?
I'm obsessed. Like I want to learn. I need to learn Italian because I'm obsessed. It's such a the I'm Spanish, so I have an easier time in Italy as well. So
Hmm.
a lot of the communications is very similar to Spanish,
Yeah, if you
but
know Italian, you will definitely
but
understand.
but I got to tell you, like just the natural hand motions and gestures that they infuse into the language is just it's incredible.
Yeah,
So I love it. I think it's funny. It's happy. It just even if they're upset, it just looks like they're happy. Stuff like that. So, and I got to tell you, like I do a lot of events in Italy. I do a lot of events in south of France, and even when I go to south of France, which is beautiful, I always find myself driving down to say like Tuscany and hanging out with friends there and eating and drinking and just enjoying that whole kind of lifestyle and things like that. I just feel like it's the people are very warm in Italy. It's just
they
I don't
are. They are.
yeah.
Especially
So
in the south part where you have been when we were talking about this restaurant, so you were surrounded the south part. There, people are even warmer, but even in the north, they are very, very kind, very, as I said, open-hearted, open-minded, and they do. If they do some business, if they do some things, something, they do it with their heart, all their soul, and they definitely love what they do. In Italy, it doesn't work otherwise. Uh,
yeah.
just maybe last question regarding this topic. But your wife is American.
No, she's actually so um I met my wife in Peru, so she's Peruvian national. but she's Argentine and Italian, so her family is Argentine and Italian. So she actually has Italian citizenship
Yeah, yeah.
through her family and things like that. So that was the whole plan, was to, you know, and obviously like she's put my paperwork in through the consulate. So we'll be able to live there and really work anywhere in the EU without, you know, the need for work visas and all that stuff, which is really nice. I mean, it's very convenient.
Definitely. I just asked you because I wanted to let know our listeners what other things you have in common with Italy. Not only that it is your preferred destination for the work, but also you have some personal reason to love it. But let's maybe jump to some professional aspects of your activity and of your business, and giving a little maybe advice to brides and to couples that maybe are watching us today. So there are hundreds of videographers in the world, maybe even thousands or even more. There are hundreds of them very professional, and I think there may be 100 of them very professional and very good. So can you maybe name me 5 aspects which the future couples, future brides and grooms pay attention to when they're choosing the videographer for you, from your own personal experience?
Yeah. So, you know, with my work, it's very fundamentally sound. I'm also big into the education side, as you know.
Yeah, and
So,
we will talk about it.
I teach a lot of fundamental stuff, you know, because the reality is, you know, especially with the software that's made available nowadays, anybody can get in there and make these cool videos. You even make them for Instagram, Instagram and Snapchat, and you know, you've seen the TikTok videos
TikTok,
and all
yeah.
that stuff. So, you know, like, look, your wedding video shouldn't look like a TikTok video. You know, it should look like something that was professionally done. So when you're talking about something that's professionally done, it should look professional and it should sound professional. And
Hmm.
probably one of the easiest things you can do as a consumer, because, you know, for the most part, couples are not going to have professionally trained eyes, right? But
Absolutely.
but most people are going to be able to tell like what looks professional. Like, when you see somebody's work, you have to ask yourself, have I ever seen anything that looks like that in a movie theater? You know, that type of thing. Because when you see things in a movie theater, it's films that have been created that have a story, right?
Yeah.
And it looks professional and it sounds professional. And that's the way that their film should be. It should have their story, because every couple has a story. And I'm a storyteller. Like, I love to tell stories. So, and I use the couple's story as a foundation for the film. And what I want to do on top of the foundation is I want to fill it with beautiful cinematic visuals, you know, that are just stunning, things
Do
like
you
that. So,
ask them, sorry for do you ask them before you start working, before you start shooting, maybe on your meeting months before the wedding? Because you mentioned the story of a couple. Do you ask them about their story to create it, to continue it in your head and in your movies? How do you work with their story?
so the story most times is given to me at the wedding, because I don't really know my couples. You know, I may talk to them over the phone or maybe
Hmm.
over video chat, but I don't really know them. I don't know what their
Hmm.
personalities are like. I don't know what the chemistry is like. I don't know how they met a lot of times, things like that. So you'll notice in a lot of weddings when you go there, you have people talking about the couple, right?
Ah, I
So
see.
those people become my storytellers,
Hmm.
right?
I
So
see.
it's really being able to get in there and find the most important, most compelling, and impactful words that were spoken during the wedding about the couple, and using that to kind of create the film. That's what we do, you know, because we're storytellers, you know. So some people, look, there's going to be video people that are, they're very trendy, and maybe they produce more of like a music video where
Hmm.
there's no words. It's just your favorite music and then visuals from the wedding, which is great, you know. But my question is always going to be like, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, are you going to be happy with that? Because you're never going to be able to look at that video and actually hear your vows or your ring exchange or the beautiful words that maybe family and friends spoke about you. Maybe some family that's not even here anymore, you know, that have passed on, things like that. So, you know, a lot of the appreciation may come later. You know, you may think it looks cool now, but later is when you're really going to appreciate or maybe not appreciate certain ways of documenting these events, you know. So for me, look, you know, style and the way you produce the video, all that stuff can be done in post. But the most important thing is that the event is well documented when you're there, right? So even if a couple, for instance, let's say they came to me and said, you know what, Ray, we don't want anybody talking in the video. And I said, okay, no problem. So I produce a film that has nobody talking. It's just visuals and it's very well done. So it's entertaining, right? But maybe 5 years from now, they call me and they say, Ray, we want to hear what we said. Can we get a film that incorporates the words now? I have the footage. And you know what I mean? Like if you don't document that stuff and it's gone forever, you can never do that. You know what I'm saying? So you have
So you keep all the footage, all the materials that you shooted on the wedding for years?
For 12 years now, I have every wedding.
12 years.
12 years. I've got towers and towers full of weddings. I have clients up until last week. I had a client from 7 years ago call me and ask for the same thing. Actually, it was funny. She asked for the opposite because I gave her a trailer that had words. It was gorgeous. She loved it, right? But now she emailed and she says, hey, can I just get like a short video for Instagram with no talking, just visuals? No problem, because I've got everything.
Yeah, because 7 years ago, Instagram videos were not so popular. Instagram, we call them teasers. They were not so popular. Now every photographer provides not first, it's the last product as far as I know, because first you compose the whole film, then you make it shorter version, and then only then you can make in Italian we say quintessenza, like the very short, compressed, all the moments compressed version. We call it teaser for Instagram. Yeah, really, it was not so popular even a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so look, I can do anything post-production because I have everything, you know, but the thing is that you're going to have some videographers based on the communication that you've had, you know, and your expectations. You're going to have videographers that are just going to film for their product, and that's it. So anything outside of what they need for the product, it may or may not be there, this type of thing. So with me, even though I produce like a shorter film, I still have everything. I have a lot of Jewish clients. I have a lot of Russian clients. I have a lot of Indian clients. And as you know, the couple, they may want one thing, but the parents might be a little bit more traditional and they want everything. So I have to be prepared for when the parents call me and said, hey, we love the film you gave, you know, our son or daughter, but we want to see the whole concert of Andrea Bocelli that we paid for, right? So
like parents version, yeah.
Yeah, so exactly, it's a parents version, and you know, in a lot of these cases, the parents are paying for it. They're paying for the wedding, so
it happens very often. Yeah,
exactly. So they want to have rights to be able to request certain things, and I always tell them, I said, look, I record everything, so anything that you want after the fact, it's always going to be there. You know, I don't just record for my work. I record for you. I'm there to document a wedding. I'm not there to document for myself. You know, this is just, for me, every moment that happens at a wedding, it can never be recreated. It's done. It's over and it's gone. It's either you recorded it or it's gone forever. And for me, I get kind of scared about that. So I said, we're recording everything just in case, because they may not want it now, but maybe they want it in a year or two. You know, things like that. And I never want to be able to tell a client that I don't have a memory of theirs from a wedding that they hired me to document.
Ray, so many compliments arriving to you from our listeners and from our PALAZZOEVENTI team. And now Kristen is typing us now, paying respect to the parents is very good. So I completely agree with her, because maybe the first persons who want to see these memories, to recreate these memories in their heads and their minds, are rather the parents. The newlyweds will do it a bit later, maybe when some years, 5, 10 years pass. But the parents are the, let's say, the primary consumers of these memories. So you're doing very good, shooting and filming everything, even if the couple requested different products than you are going to do according to your experience.
Well, it's funny because first I want to tell you, Christine is so talented. She commented here. I've worked with her in Italy and France, and she's just amazing. And I think she has by far and away the most impressive Instagram feed that I've seen. It's so well done. So if you see her here, just click on the link, because the way that she does her Instagram feed is incredible. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
she's a videographer?
She's a photographer.
A photographer.
She's a photographer, but you have to see the way that she does her Instagram feed with her photography and the color tones. It's really impressive. So, you know, that kind of thing. But
no, we will.
Back to the parents. Yeah, so back to the parents. Funny enough, when I know that a parent, when a couple's coming in, and I kind of know that the parents are paying for everything, they're kind of controlling everything, stuff like that, the way that I present the package is going to be different already. It's already going to be catered not only to the couple, but I'm going to cater it to the parents, because I have to make sure if the parents aren't happy with what I present, I'm probably not going to get hired. So I'm smart enough to know, like, you know, the couple's getting married, but the parents are very important in this because they're kind of paying for everything and they're the decision makers.
What's your what's your most popular package? What are the most requested products that the couples ask you for? And maybe the other questions, the other question, how deeply you can permit them to, so no, let's say, are you ready to adapt your style of work to their wishes, to the wishes of the couple, or you keep the position that you are an artist, and that's a very respected position because they choose you because they love your art. So do you permit them to change your work a bit, or you just follow your line, how you see the event? And tell us about the packages also.
Yeah, so I only have one rule and one rule only. We can't do anything cheesy. So anything that looks ridiculous and is going to make them look ridiculous, I will not do. And, you know, look, in terms of style, I don't really have a style, right? I consider it an eye. I have an eye for beauty. I know how to control light. I know how to control backgrounds. I know what looks good, things like that. But here's the important thing. No matter how creative I want to get, I never want to take the couple outside of who they really are as people. I have to respect who they are as people. I have to respect their personality. So what I want to do on a wedding day is I want to let the couple be themselves. I want to kind of like, I want to be there to document their chemistry and their personalities. And of course, if they tell me, they said, Ray, we want to do some creative stuff, I'm going to be the happiest guy in the world. But if I have a client that says, Ray, we just want to chill out, we want to be in love and just enjoy the day, we don't want to do anything extra, I'm good with that too. I can work under any type of situation, and I do. You know, like half of my clients, they're a little bit more laid back, and then the other half, they want to do creative stuff. So anything you want to do, I'm going to do. I'm very fast, and I'm very efficient. So even though sometimes, you know, you guys give us like a 1 hour, 2 hour window for photo and video, sometimes you know how it is. You know, if a makeup artist runs late or something like that, maybe you end up with like 10 minutes. You know,
Yes.
but the reality is the expectations never change from the client. You know, whether you have an hour or 2 hours or 10 minutes, they're still expecting you to create magic, right? So
Especially, it becomes very difficult, especially when you have to share the same point, the same angle with whole team, because there can be two or three, a team of two or three very famous and very good photographers, a whole team of videographers. I think if their number of guests exceeds 100, there may be even two or three or even four videographers, and you all have to share. For example, you go to a shooting after the wedding ceremony and you all have to share one point, one angle. How do you do that? How do you manage that normally?
so you know, hopefully it's a situation where the videographer has the same style or a similar style as the photographer. You know, like a lot of the great photographers that I work with and I like to recommend, they mostly shoot available light. Like they're not big into flash, so they love using available light, and they love using video light in some
Mhm.
instances and things like that. So that's identical to what I'm doing. So a lot of times, if we're doing, say, like a candid shoot with a couple, we're shooting the same thing. We're both getting the same great quality images. The only difference is that, you know, that photographer may have some different ideas and I may have some different ideas. And I feel as though if we can work together and put two minds together instead of just one,
Hmm.
we're going to end up with so much more content for the couple. You know, it's not for us. At the end of the day, like, you know, when we're kind of like going at it and trying to make things work and get shots, we're not fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for the client. At least I do. Like, I try to do everything I can to make sure that the client gets the most out of the wedding day as possible. You know, but like I told you, I'm very fast, you know, so even if I'm in a situation where maybe I'm working with a photographer that's a little bit more traditional and they do a lot of posed stuff, I can always wait until they're finished, right? Because I can't, you know, post
Re-
anything.
Really? You
Yeah,
do
of
so?
course. Yeah, of course. So, and even in between their shots, like when they're moving from one spot to the next, I can get a shot in 30 seconds, you know, stuff like that. And then they can keep getting their shots, and I can kind of work in and out of even the most traditional photographers, stuff like that. So, but obviously, the best case scenario is if you're going to get like a non-traditional cinematographer, I would definitely recommend getting a non-traditional photographer. You know, and I look, I recommend that as a whole because there's so many beautiful moments that happen naturally on a wedding day. My feeling is, why would you want to stop that for a pose? You know, just let the moment happen because it's going to be something beautiful to document, whether it's photo or video. You know, like why slow things down and stop the action? You know, because you're ruining a moment. Like imagine a moment that was just about to happen and they stop it just before the most beautiful part of the moment happened. You know, for like something that was fake and it was something that was created because it wasn't real. You know, anything that's posed is not real. You know, it's something that was posed, you know,
That's the
that kind
thing
of thing.
I think I have to write down. That's a very important. I noticed for me two things that you told, that you said, that I definitely will write down, and will maybe put it in our, like, experience list. That you don't have a style, you have an eye and a sense of
Lighting,
how to see
composition,
what's
background.
happening, building
Yeah.
composition. And the other thing, that everything is created artificially. It's a ruin. But sometimes you have to, because maybe the couple is it's a bit nervous, or they don't like or don't know how to pose, or how do you,
You're
well,
absolutely
in
right.
this case.
You hit the nail right on the head. So, you have to be able to get the couple comfortable with you. That's the key. So, you know, what separates really good photographers and cinematographers from people that may not be able to get the couples into a comfortable zone, right? Where they're able to kind of be themselves and forget you're even there, that type of thing. So, like me, I don't have a big crew. Literally, like when I'm filming the couple, I'm by myself all day
Hello.
until alone. So until we get to the ceremony and say speeches where I need another camera angle, then I bring another cinematographer in that situation. But the times that it's just me and the couple, I'm by myself, because I don't want them to think about a big crew or a big production, stuff like that. I just want them to kind of, as much as they can, forget that I'm even there. And you hit on something very important. Some couples, they don't really know what you want, right? So they get kind of lost.
You or them there?
Them. So they don't really know what you want them to do when your cameras are recording.
No,
yeah,
that's
so you hit on a very good point. So they're kind of nervous, like, what do we do? So the only direction that I do is I come to them and I said, hey guys, listen, we don't need you to do anything, right?
Okay.
I just want you to be in love. If you can just do that, you're doing everything that I need. Trust me.
Okay.
So I want them to make eye contact. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just have them, you know, take a walk or, you know, be in a place that's beautiful. And I always tell them, guys, just make eye contact. Like if I see that they're lost, I just tell them to make eye contact, because you tell me, what normally happens when two people that are in love look at each other?
I agree.
Something beautiful. I don't know what's going to happen, right? And I shouldn't know what's going to happen, because what's going to happen is something that's 100% natural. I didn't have to create it. The only thing that I had to have them do was make eye contact, and they just created a moment for me. And it's not directed, it's not scripted, it's not fake. It's real. You know, the only thing that I told them, guys, just look at each other, you know, make eye contact, interact, things like that. So I already know, look, if they're in love and they make eye contact, something special is going to happen. So now if I put them in a location where I've got beautiful light, a beautiful background, and I have two people looking at each other, giving me incredible chemistry, it's a done deal. My job is over. You know, there's nothing more that I need to add to that than what they're giving me. So that's my style, is just raw. Let them be themselves. Let it be natural. Don't take the couple outside of who they really are as people, you know, because then it's going to look dumb. You know, when their family and friends watch that video later on, I don't want their family and friends to look at the video and ask the couple, hey, why were you guys doing that goofy stuff? That's not really who you are. You know, I want them to look at the couple and say, oh my God, you guys are incredible. You know, that kind of thing. So that's kind of, if you're going to call it a style, I would say that's my style.
But how do you reach that? Do you maybe meet them before, a couple of weeks before, or how do you reach it? Or you immediately set this contact, this personal contact with them when you arrive to the location and you meet them for the first time? How do you reach that?
Look, there's something called trust, and they have to trust me. I remember there was a wedding in, I had a wedding in south of France. It was, remember the Formula One driver, Nico Rosberg? I'm not sure if you remember him, but anyways, he was like a F1 champion, right?
Okay.
And I remember I came to the bride's room for the getting ready, and somebody came to the door and they told me, they said, the bride doesn't want you to come in yet. And I'm like, okay. And I said, you know, because I'm thinking like, I'm not going to film her right away, but I want to film the details and the dress and things like that. Like I know what's going on. She was nervous about me filming her when she wasn't ready, things like that. So so they didn't want to let me in. And then, so I asked her, I said, and I never met her before. Her name was Vivian.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask you about it. Have you ever met her before?
Never met her, never talked to her, right?
Okay.
So I said, do you mind if I talk to Vivian? And they said, yeah. So Vivian came to the door and she goes, oh my God. I said, Vivian, I only want you to do one thing today. And she goes, what's that? I said, I just want you to trust me. I want you to trust that I'm only going to record the most beautiful images of you possible. That's it. And she goes, really? And I said, yes. I would never, ever in my life record something that was unflattering, ever. And she goes,
you were
okay.
lucky.
I put her at ease. And she's like, come in, do whatever you need to do, you know, things like that. So sometimes you just have to be real with people, you know, just be honest, you know, just put them at ease. make them comfortable, you know, because here's the thing that I'll tell you about my work. I don't just film to film. I film for the couple because, and I'm very mindful of how they look, which is very important. You know, a lot of people get caught up in their style and they get tunnel vision, you know, like, oh, I have to get this shot, I have to get that shot. And they just film whatever. But I don't do that. I have to be very mindful of lighting, angles, and how my couple looks, because the reality is I could be the most creative person in the world, but if my couple hates the way that they look in the film, they're never going to want to watch that film. And then that means that I failed. So that's me. I have to care. You know, I have to care about how everybody looks in that film. So there's a lot of great shots that I take that are wasted because maybe something unflattering was happening in that clip, and now I have to get rid of it. I have to shoot enough great stuff to where I'm able to cut out a lot and stay with the best stuff and make sure that everybody looks their best. Because if they hate the way they look in a video, let me tell you something. I always think that when I deliver a film, when they press play, they're not sitting there like so excited about how creative I was. I think they're sitting there at first like, oh my God, I wonder how I'm gonna look in this film, because we're all very self-critical. You know, I think we're always kind of like, you know,
yeah,
when somebody takes a pic, you know what I mean? When somebody takes a picture of you and they post it on Instagram or Facebook, the first thing you're looking at is how you look. You're not looking like at how happy you were with a group of people. You're thinking like, oh my God, how did I come out? That's everybody. Everybody thinks the same thing. So I know they're thinking like that when they're going to watch the film. So it's just, it's really important to me. And I pay a lot of attention to how people are going to look in the film.
But again, how you make sure, how you become sure that she, and I will talk more about the brides because they are more concentrated of how they will look like, but sometimes even the grooms, but most often the brides, how you understand in advance that she will like it, how she looks like in advance?
Because in my film, she's probably going to look better than she does in person. So I already know. Look, anytime that I could get somebody to beautiful lighting, I'm already making them look better. Like right now, look, you're a good looking guy, but if I put some beautiful light on you, you would look amazing. Like you would be so happy. And if I gave you like an amazing background, you would be like, oh my God, I look amazing. So I already know the ways to make you look even better than you look in person. And I do that with light, you know, natural, beautiful, available light. I'm able to kind of use light like a paintbrush and to create beautiful imagery. Like if I'm in beautiful light, there's no doubt in my mind I'm going to make you look better. For instance, if I get to like a bride getting ready and the makeup artist has her in a bathroom where you have yellow lights that are, you know, they're casting shadows under her eyes and things like that. That's already looking unflattering. Besides the yellow light on her skin, which is making the skin look bad, and then in the background you have a toilet or something like this, it just looks really messy. I know if I can get that bride out of the bathroom and into some beautiful light, right, where it's very flattering, cleaned up background, everything looks amazing, it's just going to look stunning on film. So, you know, a lot of the control that I try to do is outside of what the bride even understands, you know, because I don't want the bride to have to become a cinematographer or understand any of the things that I'm doing. I just need her to kind of understand that whatever I do on a wedding day, it's only going to make them look better. Right?
Can you share a couple of tips how to build the preparation part of the wedding day? Maybe how much time to dedicate to the preparation, to filming the preparation, to makeup. I know that all this stuff is a business of every single vendor, of makeup artists, of I don't know, one who brings the wedding dress. They have to tell us where I need, for example, for makeup 2 hours and that's it. But maybe you, from your experience, in terms of making a gorgeous film, can share a couple of tips how to build the wedding preparation part of the day better, so that the bride not becomes tired, nervous, and all this things.
Really important what you just said. I don't know about feeling tired, but the last thing I want is a bride to be stressed, right? Because once you have a stressed bride, you lose all beautiful imagery. Because believe it or not, especially with photography, because you know, when you get stressed, the muscles in your face, they tense up. And it actually takes a few minutes, at least, for those muscles to relax again, right? With video, it's not.
I never thought about it, you know. I never thought.
You know, with video, it's not so bad because video involves motion, so I can cover it up a little bit more. But for photographs, it's captured. You know, it's a done deal. Things like that. So the last thing you want is to have a couple that's stressed. You know, look, they're getting married. They've hired a planner to keep things running smooth, right? So they can kind of be stress-free, right? I always say, like, look, no matter what you do on a wedding day, the couple should never feel like they're at work, you know, and they're working and they're stressed and they're running late, things like that. Look, even though it's your wedding day and you have a million things going on, you should still be having fun on your wedding day. You know, your wedding should not. Yeah. Your wedding should not be a nightmare. But let me tell you something. And a lot of people that are viewing this, they're going to agree with me. They're vendors. And I love makeup artists to death. And I work with some really great ones. But I got to be honest with you. Makeup artists can make or break a wedding day. Literally. A lot of people don't think about this. But the makeup artist who's not really ever held liable for running late, they ruin the day. You know, and I hate to say this. You know, if you're a good makeup artist out there and you stay on time, then this is not directed at you. But the makeup artists that don't stay on schedule, you have to understand what they do to the rest of the day. Because as soon as the makeup artist runs an hour late with the makeup, the bride and groom just lost an hour of memories. You know, and nobody really thinks about that, but I do. You know, I was like, what a shame. You know, because if they just would have done their job and been a professional and stayed on time, we would have had an extra hour to create beautiful memories for the couple. It's not for me. It's for the couple, you know, so I always feel bad for the couple, you know, because look, nothing that we do on the wedding day is for me personally. It's always, I'm like a representative. I feel like I'm a representative for the couple. You know, I want them to get every ounce of everything beautiful from the wedding day. And when somebody compromises that because they're not a professional, that really, it irritates me. You know, there's nothing I can say.
Professional makeup artists, I'm talking now about really professional guys and girls, and we have some in our database, are, as you, very attentive, pay so much attention to not to make the bride and the couple, entire couple, nervous. We had a broadcast with a very famous makeup artist. Her name is Seda Kuchumova, and she's very famous even in the USA, so all over the world, especially in Arabic, between Arabic brides. And she was sharing with us the secrets how not to make the bride and the couple nervous, and she was talking right the same things that you have just told, that she, even if she interacts much more than you do, because she does the makeup she stops the process, not stops, but she keeps the bride still, for a couple of hours. Even she said, if I'm not mistaken, it was something like that, but the sense was the same, that she always tries to do her work in a way that the bride doesn't notice that some magic, that something happens, that somebody is making her very, very beautiful. You don't need ever to do like a show. You just need to calmly do your work and not to interact in the process very much. So I think I agree with you, but I think professional makeup artists know what do you mean, yeah?
Yeah. So I would say, just look, if we can keep a makeup artist on time, the couple just gets so much more out of the wedding day, and then they're not stressed because, you know, as soon as they're late, then the timeline starts getting crunched, and then you only have so much time for this, so much time for that, and you also still have to assume there's going to be delays, right?
Yeah.
Like there is no perfect timeline. So you have to, when I look at a timeline, I look at the timeline that I'm given, and I look at a realistic version of the timeline.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because look, people, yeah, because look, the reality is the bride, once she gets in her dress, maybe she still has to go to the bathroom. So I have to account for the time she has to go to the bathroom, and maybe she has to get to an elevator and wait for the elevator and then go down the elevator, and then she's going to see 15 friends. You know, so there's going to be delays before you get to the actual spot, you know. But if I ever see a bride getting to the point where she's at risk for having like no memories, I'm going to say something to either the makeup artist, or I may tell her, I said, look, I don't want to say much today, but I got to tell you, we're really late. You know, like we have to really start keeping talking to a minimum if you want to do all these photo shoots that you had planned, because right now we don't have a lot of time left, things like that. And we still have to, we still have to be able to get to the ceremony, and I want to be able to film the ceremony setup, the details. I want to film the guest arriving. I still have to set up the audio. Maybe we got to set up some lights depending on the lighting situation. So we have a big job, you know, with video. It's a little bit bigger because we have to worry about sound, all the words that are going to be spoken. And then sometimes we have to assess what the lighting situation is going to be. So, and I need time for that. So I will tell you, look, in most instances, if I see a timeline that's really bad, I'm going to have some conversations with either the couple, or maybe I'm going to talk to the planner.
And with wedding planners, because it's also the job of wedding planners to take into account all these things. And I
got to tell you, I work with some planners that send timelines that are unbelievable, like incredible. I mean, so much time. I've even been at weddings where there was too much time, which is always a good thing, because now you're really relaxed. You're really getting everything that you want. And then guess what? Now the bride has plenty of time to go back, get touched up, freshen up, and get ready for the events, stuff like that. So that's always
somebody
a great
is typing as planners can give. Planners can give like a buffer. I lost this buffer. Their timeline is a buffer which should help. Yeah, we always try to do that, definitely, because it never goes minute by minute. So every process, every detail of the wedding should have some air, should have some time spare.
Yeah, so that's the key. If we can keep the couple stress free, we're gonna have amazing imagery all day long, you know.
Good.
And that's key. You know, it starts with a makeup artist. You know, I wanna like re-emphasize it, because, you know, like 80% of the time I don't get to work with really professional makeup artists. They're really good, but you know, you have to be professional too. You know, you can't just be good and not be professional. A professional respects the time and the expectations that have been set. You know, if you're really good but you don't meet the expectations, then you're not really a professional. You're just somebody that's really good at what you do, but you don't understand timelines. You know, on a timeline, you know, you have to respect the timeline. You know, that's it's there for a reason. It's there for, same thing with you. You know, when you have companies that come in and they tell you, okay, we're going to be done with the lighting setup at this time, the florals at this time, you know, the ceremony setup at this time. If those people run 1 hour or 2 hours late, you're probably not going to ever recommend them again to be part of your creative team.
Yes.
Things like that. So I feel like, I think planners should really take another look at makeup artists and hold them to the same standard. You know, like, look, I understand you're really good, but if you can't be on time, you just cannot be a part of my creative team. You know,
our reports with vendors are being constructed by years per years, and if we work with some vendor, I'm talking about everybody, you know, sometimes 20, 30, 40 vendors work on just one wedding. Sometimes 300, 400 people are involved. So I'm talking about not only makeup artists, but from makeup artists to the guys who build the tent, who especially who make the flowers, who make the decorations, well, who bring you the mobile toilets, you know, and all this huge team, all this huge machine has to respect timelines, has to so devil in details, we say, and we try to keep this, you know, this rule. By the way, there was a question. I want to I want to catch a couple of minutes to talk about your educational project, but there was a question that I like very much. It's a sort of quiz, you know. You can answer very shortly, and the question itself is very short. What's your rule number one?
4.
That was the question. I liked it. That's why I'm asking you about. Maybe in this time, that time we were talking about your vision and your taste and your eye, and how you build the day, and what are your rules, what products do you usually deliver, how do you shoot, which materials do you conserve, do you keep, and somewhere there was a question. What's your rule number one in your work?
So I don't know if that's directed at a client or like a videographer, but
generally.
Yeah. So look, my rule is just stay true to who you are as an artist, things like that. Like I want the couple to be who they are, and I'm going to be who I am. You know, like you have to trust me 100% that I'm going out and I'm documenting your wedding the best way possible. You know, to where it's going to look professional, it's going to sound professional, it's going to be something that you're going to love, things like that. So I think it's when you start trying to be something that you're not, that things start to fall apart. You know, so I would just say, like, you know, whatever your style is, if you have a style, or whatever your personality is, just kind of stay true to that. And everything looks really, really good, really natural. Look, in terms of couples, the last thing that you want to do with a couple is try to make a professional actor out of non-actors. You know what I mean? It's just going to fall apart, you know? So the best thing that you can do is just let them be themselves, you know, that kind of thing. And just rely on their natural chemistry and their love. And that's going to be enough. You know, I'm telling you, as soon as you start over directing or over producing, right, and trying to create things and make them be something that they're not, I just feel like it's going to look kind of cheesy, and it's definitely not going to look like who they are as people.
Great, thank you so much. I'm just want to have possibility then to save the broadcast and to put it in our IGTV section. Two things. Two remaining things. First of all, we want to thank you so much for joining us and for joining our broadcast. And I hope that very soon all the borders, all the flights, all the countries will be open, and we will be able to grant Italy to all our customers, vendors, to all our clients, couples, etc. And we will be very glad to meet you here. And maybe we can even help you searching a house, or maybe a summer house for you in Italy.
I hope so.
That's the first thing. And maybe in one remaining minute that we have, just share 3 quick tips for the future videographers who are now just entering to the profession.
I would tell them, well, the first thing that I would tell them is to go to mzed.com, mzed.com, and download my course. It's an online course. It'll teach you everything that I do from A to Z. The other thing that I would tell them is to be different. Because there's too many videographers out there all doing the same thing, but they're expecting a different result or a better result, and it's not going to happen. So be different and think outside the box. Do things that are outside the box. They're not obvious. You know, as soon as you start doing the obvious things, you're just doing the same things as everybody else. So try to think of doing things a little bit differently than the masses.
Great, thank you so much. Greetings and thanks from all the PALAZZOEVENTI team, or our listeners, or our audience. We hope to see you soon. Maybe we will even do another live stream. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye.